Good day, students. Welcome to mathgotserved.com. In this clip, we're going to be going over section 7.2a on our series on operations on fractions, multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting fractions. In this presentation, we're going to be taking a look at how to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers and mixed numbers to improper fractions. Don't forget we have practice problems included at the end of this presentation, and also to refresh your memory on the prerequisite skills for this lesson, just simply scan this QR code or take a look at the videos in the description below. Alrighty, instructions for the examples we're going to be doing. The first three are for us to convert the given improper fraction into mixed numbers. Okay, convert the given improper fractions to mixed numbers. And then in the last three examples we're going to do the reverse. You'll be given mixed numbers and you're to convert to improper fractions. Okay, all right, so for question number one, let's say you have the improper fraction 5 over 2. So how do you know that this fraction is improper? If you have a quotient of two numbers and the numerator, or the number on top, is bigger than the number on the bottom, then that's an improper fraction. Okay, a proper fraction is if the numerator is smaller than the denominator. All right, okay, so to get us started, we are going to take a look at the formula that will guide our problem solving process. All right, so let's take a look at the formula. The one that we're going to take a look at is the formula to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers. So formula for going from improper fractions to mixed numbers. All right, mixed numbers are basically a combination of a whole number and a proper fraction. So let's say we have an improper fraction given by a over b. All right, so we have some improper fraction a over b. So to convert it to mixed numbers, all we're just going to do is use long division. Okay, when we apply long division to the quotient of these two numbers, we're going to end up with the quotient. All right, and then with a remainder divided by the denominator. All right, that's how you convert improper fraction to mixed numbers. You basically go from here to here using long division. That's what we're going to do. All right, if you don't remember how to carry out long division, you can scan this QR code to gain access to all the tutorials that you need to review the long division algorithm. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. We have 5 over 2, 5 divided by 2. This fraction right here is an improper fraction. Remember, it's because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. That's why it's improper. The goal is to convert it into a mixed number, basically a whole number attached to a proper fraction. Okay, so 5 over 2 is the same thing as 5 divided by 2. Don't forget, all right? And when you want to write this in division, the top dog goes in the doghouse. Basically, the numerator goes into the long division bars, and then the denominator goes out. And then we just long divide, okay? How many times does 2 go into 5? 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 4, 2 times 2 is 4. And then you subtract, and then you're left with 1. Remember the algorithm for long division. You divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. All right, we covered this in the previous presentation. All right, so when you do the long division, how do we interpret the answer right here? When you divide it, this long division result is basically telling us that your answer is going to be 2, the quotient, remainder, the denominator, I'm sorry, the remainder is the number that's on the bottom here that's left, which is 1. We couldn't divide any further because we know that 1 is less than 2, and 2 can't go into a number that's less than it. All right. So how do we write this particular result that we just got in a mixed number format? This is how you do it. See the formula up here? You write the quotient first. That's the whole number. And then the remainder divided by the denominator, which is 2. All right. So the quotient, let's specify what's going where. You notice that the quotient from your long division is a big number, is a whole number. Okay. And then the remainder is going to be the numerator of your fractional components, the proper fraction. That's the remainder. And then you divide that by the denominator, the original denominator that you had in the improper fraction. So this 2 right here, that's what comes right here. Bam. All right. So even in the formula, you see this denominator right here is exactly the same as b, your denominator b. That's what it is. All right. So let's go ahead and write down our answer in a nice, organized, and understandable way. 5 over 2, the improper fraction 5 over 2 is equal to 2 whole number 1 over 2. All right, so let's just specify what's what again, just for emphasis. So this is the improper fraction because the top is bigger than the bottom. And then this guy right here is our mixed number, a combination of a whole number and a proper fraction. Okay, let's take a look at another example. All right, number 2, we're going to do it a little bit quicker since we have already seen the process for doing it. So let's say we have the improper fraction 32 divided by 5. This is an improper fraction. What is it in mixed numbers format? Let's do it. So 32 divided by 5, 32 over 5 is the same thing as 32 divided by 5, right? So we're going to use the long division algorithm here to convert this to mixed numbers. So the top dog, the numerator goes in the doghouse, so the numerator goes underneath the long division bars, and then the denominator goes out. Bam. Now we're going to long divide. How many times is 5 going to 3? 3 is too small, so we're going to append the next digits, 32. How many times is 5 going to 32? 6 times. That's the biggest multiple of 5 that's less than 32 is 30, so 6 times. And then 6 times 5 is 30. Remember, if you've forgotten how to do your long division, just scan the QR code that we showed earlier to review your long division algorithm. Okay, subtract this. 2. Remember to long divide. You divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. There's nothing to bring down here because that's the last digit. 2 is smaller than 5, so we are done. This tells us that the answer is 6 remainder 2. How do we convert this to mixed numbers format? You write the quotient as a whole number, the remainder divided by your denominator. Bam, bam, bam. Let's specify it again. So this number right here is the quotient. And then the remainder is what is your numerator for the proper fraction component. It's the remainder right here. And then this number is your denominator from your original improper fraction. So denominator 5 is the same as this one right here, okay? All right, so our answer, 32 over 5, is 6 whole number 2 over 5. That's the mixed number format of 32 over 5. All right, we're going to do one more example that involves reduction, and then we're going to do the reverse and take a look at how to go from mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay, so now we have the improper fraction 34 over 10, and we're to convert this to mixed numbers. All right, so there are two ways to approach this problem. You can either reduce it first and then go ahead and do your conversion, or you can just convert and reduce. So what we're gonna do here is just convert first, and then we're gonna reduce the fractional component. How do we know it's reducible? Well, if you look at the two numbers, they're both even, right? With our divisibility rules, we know that all even numbers are divisible by what? By 2. So let's go ahead and convert this to mixed numbers first, and we'll talk about reduction later. So this is 34 divided by 10. We're going to be using the long division algorithm again. Top dog 34 goes in a doghouse. Bam, there goes your doghouse right there. 10 on the outside. 10 doesn't go into 3. Add the 4 next to it. How many times does 10 go into 34? The biggest multiple of 10 that's smaller than 34, smaller than or equal to 34 is 30, so 3 times. Because 3 times 10 is 30. Divide, multiply, subtract. Bam, there's nothing to bring down. So our answer here is 3. That's a quotient, remainder 4. To write this as a mixed number, it's going to be 3 whole number, your quotient, the remainder 4 over 10. Now, if you take a look at the fractional parts, you notice that they are both even numbers, so that's reducible. So what we're going to do here is basically divide by the common factor. What's the common factor? 2 goes into both of them. Okay, it also turns out to be the greatest common factor. All right, if it's not apparent to you, you can just make your t-chart and look for the greatest common factor, right? So 2, 4, and then here is 2, 5, 10. We've done this before in our previous video on finding the greatest common factor. We can see the greatest common factor here is 2, so you just divide by 2 to get it to its reduced form. Okay, so we'll divide by 2, divide by 2, just the fraction part, the proper fraction, and then that becomes 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5, 2 over 5. So ladies and gentlemen, the improper fraction 34 over 10 is equivalent to the mixed number 3 whole number 2 over 5. So there goes your answer for question 3. All right, let's go ahead and do the reverse. We're going to take a look at how to convert. Let's write down instructions. So convert the given mixed numbers this time. The given mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay. All right. Number 4. Let's say you have the mixed number 2 whole number 4 over 5. We want to convert this into an improper fraction. Let's take a look at the formula that will guide our problem solving process for this example. So formula to go from mixed numbers this time, mixed numbers to improper fraction. Just write it shorthand. Okay, so let's say you have the mixed number A whole number B over C. How do you convert this? Remember how you check your division problems in our previous tutorial? That's basically what we're doing right here. We're trying to generate what the dividend is and put it over the denominator. That's basically what we're doing. So what we do, first of all, we're going to reverse, right? So you're going to take the denominator and you multiply it by the quotient. You add it to the remainder, or you add the remainder to it, and then you put it over the denominator. So you're going to do C multiplied by A. So if you do PEMDAS, you multiply that first, and then you add on your B, and you put that entire answer over your denominator C. Bam. End of story. Okay. So this fraction that we have right here is your mixed number. It's a mixed number. Combination of your whole number and the proper fraction. And then this whole process, this long fraction that we have right here, is going to be your improper fraction. Improper fraction. Okay, so let's just put this whole thing in word form, just to help you think about it differently. So what is going on here is you have the original mixed number, which is just the quotient, and the fraction, the proper fraction, which is the remainder over the denominator. So the steps are telling you to change it into improper fraction. You're just going to take the denominator, multiply it by the quotient, and add on the remainder. Okay, let's shift it a little bit so you can see. And then this entire thing you have right here will be divided by the denominator. And that's how you convert to improper fraction. Don't forget to multiply first using please excuse my dear and Sally order of operations. All right, so let's go ahead and apply this formula, this algorithm, to converting improper mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay, so we're going to start off with this example that we have here, 2 4 over 5. So 2 4 over 5. How do we do this? Follow the formula closely, okay? What you do is you take the denominator and multiply it by the whole number, okay? So we have the denominator of 5 multiplied by 2, and then you're going to add the remainder to it, okay? So that's going to give us 5, the denominator, times the whole number 2, and we're going to add 4, the remainder to it. That divided by the denominator, which is 5. Okay, so following our order of operations, please excuse my dear and Sally. Remember, you multiply first before you add, okay? 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 4 over 5. And then you add 10 plus 4 is 14 over 5. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our final answer. Okay, let's go ahead and write it out. So we have the mixed number 2 and 4/5 is equal to the improper fraction 14 over 5. Bam. All right, so you might wonder, why is it necessary to know how to convert from mixed numbers to improper fractions or back and forth? When you're carrying out operations like adding and multiplying and dividing, carrying out operations with fractions, it's easier to work with improper fractions. It's excellent for carrying out operations. But if you want to get a sense of magnitude, like you want to compare two numbers, it's very easy to use mixed numbers quickly to get a sense of magnitude. Improper fractions could work. Well, you have to find the common denominator. But when you use mixed numbers, sometimes it's easier to just take a look at the whole numbers, and that's a fast way to compare and order the magnitude of fractions. All right, let's take a look at one more example. Then we'll give you some practice problems to try out. We promise giving you those at the start of this presentation so you can demonstrate mastery of what we've been talking about for the past 19 minutes or so. All right, so we have the mixed number 5 2 over 7. The task is to convert this number into an improper fraction. Okay, so we're going to use the same procedure that we used earlier, the formula we talked about. Just multiply the denominator by the whole number, and you add it to the remainder, or add the remainder to it, put it over the denominator, and you're done. All right, so let's do it. So simply the denominator 7 multiplied by the whole number 5. That's the first operation. Group it together in parentheses. Add 2 to it. Divided by 7. Bam. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's work it out. Using PEMDAS, please excuse my Dan Sally. We're going to multiply first. 7 times 5 is 35. All right, do multiplication before you add. Or parentheses, you have multiplication there. 35 plus 2 is 37 over 7. Bam, bam. All right, so the mixed number 5 to 7th is the same thing as the improper fraction, 37 over 7. And that's your answer to question 5. All right, now it's your turn to do some practice problems. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have 6 practice problems for you to try out. Go ahead and pause the video presentation at this time and try these. When you're done, click on the playback button and we're going to reveal what the correct answers are. Alrighty, welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to try out the 6 practice problems. Here are the answers. Notice question 3 and 6, some reductions were involved and necessary to bring it to its simplest form. So how well did you do? If you did well in these practice problems, go ahead and destroy that like button for us. If you have any questions or comments, specify it in the comment section and we'll be more than glad to support you. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. Do help support our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing the contents of this video with your friends. Tons of support resources can be found by scanning the QR code, visiting mathgotserved.com, or looking at the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.